Welcome to On the Radar, short analytical briefings based on aggregated public discourse and narrative trend monitoring. This briefing summarizes several high-signal themes currently emerging in public discussion around the reliability and limitations of large language models, also known as LLMs. These signals reflect aggregated public discourse across technical forums, research commentary, and professional communities. They represent frequency and consistency of concern rather than editorial judgment. Four related themes are currently standing out. First, LLMs produce answers that appear correct, but are fundamentally unreliable. Second, that LLMs model language patterns rather than actual reasoning. Third, about training data quality and vulnerability to misinformation. Fourth, that LLMs cannot independently update their knowledge based on user input. We will briefly walk through each. The first signal centers on answers that are described as sort of correct, but lack verifiable ground truth. Users report that responses often sound confident and coherent while containing factual errors or incorrect assumptions. This framing emphasizes not just occasional mistakes, but uncertainty about when outputs can be trusted at all, especially in professional or safety-critical contexts. Here, reliability itself becomes the primary concern, rather than speed or convenience. The second signal focuses on how LLMs generate responses. Public discussion frequently notes that these systems predict likely word sequences based on statistical patterns, rather than performing structured reasoning or understanding. This leads to outputs that may appear logical on the surface, but fail when tasks require multi-step consistency or causal accuracy. In this framing, the concern is not that models are unintelligent, but that their design prioritizes linguistic fluency over cognitive reliability. The third signal relates to training data quality and data poisoning risk. Because models learn from large volumes of public internet content, inaccuracies, bias, and coordinated misinformation can be absorbed into training datasets. Discussion highlights that this can propagate false narratives at scale, especially when users assume outputs reflect vetted knowledge. This introduces concerns not only about correctness, but about how errors can be amplified rather than contained. The fourth signal addresses system update limitations. Users note that models cannot truly learn from new information provided during conversations. Instead, corrections and feedback must be incorporated through manual retraining and dataset updates by development teams. This framing emphasizes that models do not possess adaptive memory in the human sense, which limits their ability to correct evolving misinformation in real time. What is notable here is not just the individual concerns, but how consistently they are appearing across public discussion. From a narrative monitoring perspective, this reflects growing attention to systemic risks rather than isolated performance issues. Within the global insight application, signals like these contribute to risk framing and response-oriented recommendations, while interpretation and decision-making remain with the user and their operating context. If you would like to explore more detail behind this briefing, you can review the underlying analysis at globalinsight.ai and examine the signals directly. Thank you for watching. If you found this briefing useful, please like, comment, and subscribe to see future updates as new topics move onto the radar.